Welcome to Dependable Flame, where we explore vintage petrol lighters, ashtrays, tobacconiana, and other useful mechanisms. Make yourself at home. Today we are going to take our first look at this vintage Penguin Cygnus aluminum block Automat roller petrol lighter. It's not our actual first look at the lighter, but it is our first look at the lighter in the context of recently acquired paperwork, which I don't know all the details, whether this would have been the actual box that this lighter would have belonged in. I think it's possible, but I don't know how many variations of the box there would have been. So we're going to take a look, hopefully educate ourselves a little bit, and have some fun with this lighter along the way. Whether or not this is the actual box that a lighter like this would have come in may be in question, but certainly more likely than the lighter that was in this box when it was listed on eBay. For a used lighter, this Penguin Cygnus is in really good shape as well. Saw the one last week that was marked Made in Occupied Japan, and how nice the finish was on that. I can orient this to where I can see it correctly. See that is marked Penguin Cygnus. And there are some scuffs, scratches, more so than that regular pocket model was. It was marked Made in Occupied Japan. This one's not even marked Japan, just Penguin Cygnus. You may have seen the short that we published on this lighter, talking about the wick and how it was interfering with the lighter opening properly. And the jury is still out as to whether it is operating properly or not. And after 3 times in a row like that, without having to help coax that wick down in there or back under that snuffer as it is closed, that seems like it is closing better than it was when we recorded that series of shorts dealing with the wick, debating whether or not to try to tug at it from the bottom or trim it from the top. Go ahead and give our paperwork a reading here. It's creased in several places, and I'll try to flatten this out before I scan it or take a photo of it for the website. It says the new Automat CYGNUS opens and light with one movement. Just press and twist. That's way ahead of its time there, that press and twist. That's like some internet generation language right there. It says the CYGNUS has long been recognized as the finest and most distinguished of lighters. We now take pleasure in presenting a great new addition to the CYGNUS line, the new Automat CYGNUS. Your Automat CYGNUS is a masterpiece of lighter engineering. It has been subjected to the most exhaustive tests over a number of years. Its new, improved fuel tank holds 50% more fluid, giving 50% more automatic lights with each filling. The Automat CYGNUS is very simple in operation. 1. Ignition. Twist. I'm not sure what that word is. Does that say GUID? Looks like it says twist GUID roller. I don't know if that's supposed to be guide or what that word might be, but twist roller while pressing. Then cap springs up and it lights with one action. 2. Flint replacement. To replace flint, turn worm gear downward until flint adjustment bar and spring are released. Old flint will fall out and be replaced. 3. Flint adjustment. Simply turn worm gear downward or upward until desired flint pressure is attained. 4. Safety device. Turning flint adjustment screw upward until it comes to a standstill locks cap so that it cannot be accidentally released in your pocket. Okay, so tightening the flint mechanism all the way up should lock it. It says guarantee. Your CYGNUS Automat is guaranteed for 1 year from the date of purchase against mechanical defects. In the event your lighter does not function properly, send it to the below factory address with return postage enclosed. Your lighter will be promptly reconditioned and returned. That address, which you see here, is 18-3 Combe, Tamagawa, Todoraki Maki, Setagaya-ku, Tokyo, Japan. Looks like a telephone number, maybe. It says TELL 70-3201-3212. Cable, CYGNUS, Tokyo. Interesting. So would that be talking about telegraph? Were they still using telegraphs in the 50s or 60s? I think maybe 60s by the time this lighter came out. So the printing is all on one side. There's the address, I believe a phone number. I'm sure no longer in business, but still nice to actually have an address to attach a Japanese lighter company to. And not only that, but I think what's interesting is even for the guarantee, it's telling you to send it back to Japan, where you saw so many lighters that were marketed here in the States and were serviced by sending the lighter to an address here in the States, where apparently Penguin CYGNUS handled all their stuff, all their repairs, everything themselves. Didn't have anything locally here in the States. Interesting to know. It always seems weird that you have a Japanese made lighter being serviced at a U.S. address to me. Obviously not the same person servicing the lighter as the one that manufactured it. So in this case, it appears as though you were sending it back to that address, and also then you had the telephone and I believe the way that you would telegraph this company if you needed to. So let's just test this out. We'll turn our worm gear. I think that's an interesting description and technically right, and I think descriptively perfect, but it never dawned on me until I read it just there. I may have seen that before somewhere, but didn't really ever dawn on me to call it a worm gear until I saw it there in that paperwork. But we'll see if driving that all the way forward keeps our mechanism locked, and sure enough it does. Takes away the slack, it looks like, in the spring system so that the snuffer will not come up. Roll that back just a little bit. We've talked a lot about this Zorro Z666 copy of the Penguin Cygnus. It's got that same unique thumb roller flint tension mechanism. Wonder whether it locks the same way. There we've got it adjusted all the way up, and no, it does not. So for those of you who are a fan of the Zorro Z666 or Cygnus copy or clone, it does not lock by running the worm gear all the way up like it does on the originals. So run it all the way up, and nothing is happening when you depress it. But if you take it back in its proper place, press and twist, everything works just fine. Until next time.